Thank you for listening to GCN. Be sure to visit GCNlive.com today.
All right, we're talking inflammation and fats. And when I say fats, I'm talking essential fatty acids, EFAs. This is all as it has to do with the skin and hormones. And really, EFAs are tremendously, tremendously multifunctional. And the fact that they're so important, multifunctional, they're involved in so many different systems in the body is one of the reasons why trans fats, hydrogenated fats, processed fats, cooked fats are so problematic. You know, in a way, our health crisis parallels the health crisis and nobody would deny that we have a serious health crisis in this country with chronic degenerative diseases and inflammatory diseases and cancer and autoimmune diseases. We got a serious health mess going on. And ironically, or maybe not ironically, our health challenges have increased at the same rate as our ingestion of these kinds of fats. In fact, the development and the entrance and the building up of these kinds of fats in the food supply, processed fats, and hydrogenated fats and trans fats, as they make up over the course of a century or so, as they've made up more and more larger proportions of our dietary calories. Heart disease has gone up, cancer has gone up, autoimmune disease has gone up. They almost went up parallel. We developed these kinds of fats, these processed fats and trans fats, about the turn of the 20th century. Crisco was the first one, actually the mid-19th century. But really, they didn't get going. We didn't get these trans fats and hydrogenated fats and processed fats didn't really get going as such a major component of our daily caloric intake until probably the early 20th century, early 1900s. And right along with the increase in the proportion of our caloric intake that these fats made up, right along with that increase came an increase of all the diseases that we suffer from, and for good reason. Because when your body doesn't have EFAs, which most of us don't, it will substitute these processed fats and trans fats into cells, into cellular chemistry, and it doesn't work because they're not the same things. They're destroyed. They're manipulated. They're deteriorated. They're frankenfats. They're monstrous fats, and the body's trying to stick them in cells and stick them in chemistry. You can't help but have inflammatory diseases. You can't help but have circulatory diseases. You can't help but have immune system diseases. You can't help but have neurological issues. The body's trying to use French fry fat to make cells. It's trying to use French fry fat to create chemistry. It ain't going to happen, and the net result has to be disease. So if you had to pick one thing, I hate to have to say pick one thing, but if you had to pick one supplement, a case could certainly be made for that supplement being your ultimate EFAs or being essential fatty acids. The EFAs are the molecules of inflammation, among other things. They do a lot of things, but for our purposes here, at least today, they're the molecules of inflammation, meaning when the body needs to inflame, i.e. protect itself, that's what inflammation is. When the body needs to protect itself by inflammation, it uses EFAs. Specifically, it uses omega-6s. Remember, there's two kinds, omega-6 and omega-3. It uses the omega-6s to inflame, and when it needs to calm down, it uses the omega-3s. Tweaked versions of the omega-6s. Tweaked versions. They're called eicosanoids or prostaglandins, but we're just going to call them omega-6s and omega-3s. So when the body needs to inflame, it uses the 6s. When it needs to calm down, it uses the 3s. And these inflammatory and anti-inflammatory things, responses, chemistry, it's always happening in the body. That means omega-6s and omega-3s are constantly being used up. And that's why you need a steady supply of both. That's why you need the ultimate EFAs every day, throughout the day, really. So I say 3 capsules in the morning, 3 in the afternoon, 3 at night. If you have any health challenge and you're deficient in your EFAs, that health challenge will improve once you start supplementing. And if you have any health challenge, the chances are pretty good that EFAs are involved or deficiencies are out of balance. If we ingest the trans fats and the hydrogenated fats, and the body tries to stick these French fry fats into cells and chemistry, that's a problem. That's a big problem. But it's also a problem if we get the wrong balance of omega-6s, the pro-inflammatory omega-6s, to the omega-3s. But we're going to throw off the balance of inflammation to anti-inflammation, and that can also be a problem. So it can be a problem if we ingest the cooked, processed, French fried, potato chip fats, or it can also be a problem if we get the wrong balance of 6s to 3s. And guess what? In 21st century America, if we're not supplementing or we're not aware of our nutritional intake, we're going to be out of balance, because aside from the fact that it's difficult to get EFAs in general because they're so unstable and they're not found in foods, aside from that, most of the foods we eat are omega-6 foods, not omega-3 foods. Most of the oils we eat are omega-6 oils and not omega-3 oils. That's because of cost. That's because of money. That's because of price. Omega-3s are pricey. Omega-6s are cheap. Omega-6s are commodities. Omega-3s require going out of your way to get them. And that's why most of us, or one of the reasons why most of us, are so out of whack in our omega-6s to omega-3s, and it's why supplementing is so important, because in a supplement you get the right balance if it's a well-formulated supplement like the Ultimate EFAs. All right, I'm Pharmacist Ben. Got more to say about fats and inflammation, and you and your phone calls at 844-236-6010. We'll be back after this.
My dad was 59 when he collapsed from a heart attack late last year. Just this past August was when we spread his ashes on the St. Croix River. I loved my dad, but boy was he stubborn. He hadn't been to the doctor in over 25 years. His excuse? He simply couldn't afford it. He wasn't a rich man by any means. At less than $107 per month, LibertyOnCall.org would have been the perfect alternative for my father. Don't wait. Go to LibertyOnCall.org right now, for not just your sake, but for the sake of your loved ones. Again, that's LibertyOnCall.org.
It's about time something new came along for better selling and buying online. And I found it.
What now, Marge?
It's buysellmakeoffer.com.
Never heard of it.
It's a brand new company. That's why you've never heard of it. It's the newest and best way to sell any products online. I did all the research.
Sell my car?
Yes.
Our home?
Yep.
My golf bag?
Your golf clubs. All of them.
How about your purse collection hoard?
Hey, now.
You said any product.
Right. I did. We get 30 days free.
Really?
Packages starting from only $7.95. And buysellmakeoffer.com will never charge item fees, ever. Never. And this is cool. Listen to this. You can even use Skype or video to show your items.
That's cool.
Yes. All we have to do is go to the website, sign up, and then load our stuff to sell. I love this site.
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. You got it?
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. Better selling, better buying.
Ted Anderson telling you about Jordan Rubin's Beyond Organic Green-Fed Raw Cheddar Artesian Cheese featuring whole milk created through ancient dairy breeding, unpasteurized, untreated whole milk on the same farm the cows graze, containing natural sources of omega-3s, CLA protein, calcium, probiotics, and enzymes. I have never tasted cheese this good, and you need to try it. Contact your longevity distributor or call 877-878-4203 or go to gcnteam.com.
I'm Nick Soboleski, a Select Quote agent with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a $300,000 group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and can't take it with him. Well, I impartially shopped the highly rated term life insurance companies we represent and found Ray, who is 41 and takes medication to control his cholesterol, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $26 a month. That's almost twice the coverage for less than half of what he had paid. If SelectQuote hasn't shopped for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 1-800-403-4885. That's 1-800-403-4885. 1-800-403-4885. Or go to SelectQuote.com. We shop, you save. Get full details in the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Your price could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com. Or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
Okay, so omega-3s, omega-6s, seriously fundamental aspect of nutrition. Fats tend to be pricey. much pricier than the water-soluble nutrients, the B's and the C's certainly, and the electrolytes. In fact, I would say fats and fatty vitamins too, but especially your essential fatty acids are going to be the most expensive of your nutritional supplements. That's because they're so unstable. And this instability also means that unless you're supplementing, you're probably not going to get the EFAs that you need. And that's a big problem because these things are super related to the inflammatory system. They are the inflammatory system and the anti-inflammatory system. Now, aside from the fact that we don't get enough EFAs in total and that we get the wrong kinds of fats, and this is behind a lot of our health challenges, including heart disease, EFA deficiency is way more connected to heart disease, by the way, than cholesterol, this idiotic, with a capital I, idea that cholesterol causes heart disease. It's not even an idea. Do you know nobody would ever tell you that cholesterol causes heart disease who has even an iota of understanding about how biochemistry works? But it's a correlation issue. They don't say causes it. They say it's related. It's correlated. That's nonsense. But EFA deficiency is causally related to heart disease. That means it causes heart disease. Nobody's going to tell you that cholesterol causes heart disease. They'll tell you, well, it seems to be related. It seems that there's a higher proportion of people who have heart disease and have high cholesterol. No, there ain't no causal relationship. Nobody's ever shown a causal connection between cholesterol and heart disease. On the other hand, if you understand chemistry and biochemistry, you can see how a deficiency in EFAs is going to be a classic mechanism for causing heart attacks and strokes and thick blood and all the other aspects of cardiovascular disease. Even the drug companies know this. This is what Lovesa is about. Lovesa is a EFA, omega-3, fake omega-3 fat that costs you $100 or $120 a month. For your doctor will write a prescription for it. Now, your insurance company might pay for it, but you get the real stuff out of food and out of your ultimate EFAs. So anyway, EFA deficiency is a big problem. Out of balance EFAs are also a problem. The deck is stacked towards omega-6s in our culture, in our food processing culture, how we eat, especially processed foods. The deck is stacked towards omega-6s because they're cheaper than the omega-3s. Omega-6s are abundant in nature. Pro-inflammatory omega-6s are found everywhere, particularly in grains, which is what most of us are eating, or what the standard American diet largely consists of. Even animals today that ordinarily don't eat grains are fed grains. Even our fish are fed grains. Even our cows are fed grains. Why? Because grains are cheap. We're out of balance on omega-6s and omega-3s for money reasons, for commodity reasons, for cheapness reasons. It's how we get to buy a hamburger for $1. You notice how ridiculously cheap fast food is? A hamburger for I don't even know. I haven't been to a McDonald's in a while or any of those places, but they're less than $1 for a hamburger. Why? Because they're all subsidized. The cows are all subsidized. The meat is subsidized via grain by government subsidies to corn farmers and grain farmers. Not that I'm ripping on farmers, by the way. But the fact is that the grains that the cattle are eating are ridiculously cheap because they're subsidized. That gives us cheap burgers, and that gives us, for most of us anyway, an out of balance that throws off our balance of omega-6s to omega-3s. It's very easy to get the omega-6s. It ain't so easy to get the omega-3s. Omega-3 is technically called ALA, alpha-linoleic acid. That's technically the term for omega-3, ALA. Or I shouldn't say that. I should say the essential fatty acid version of omega-3 is called ALA. There's other types of omega-3, but they're not essential. Remember, essential means air. Essential means water. Essential means love. Essential means you better have it or you're going to die. Essential nutrients are nutrients that your body can't make, but they're like air. You need them or you're going to die. There's only one essential omega-3. There are lots of omega-3s, or there's a few omega-3s, but there's only one that is essential. It's called ALA. It's found in grass. It's found in seeds. Wheatgrass, by the way, is a tremendous source. Alfalfa. Grass in general is just amazing stuff. I find that very interesting how the whole earth, the whole planet is covered with grass. Even the ocean is covered with grass, ocean grass, seaweed, algae. And grasses are I'm thinking among the most powerful foods you could ever eat, but you could make a case that they are the most powerful food you could ever eat. Grasses in the form of seaweed, grasses in the form of wheatgrass juice. Can't eat grass straight because we don't have the digestive system for eating it, but the biggest animals in the world do it. Why do you think the biggest animals in the world eat grass? Elephants eat grass. Giraffes eat grass. Water buffalo eat grass. Cows eat grass. Gorillas eat grass and leaves. Grass and leaves. Grass and leaves are very similar. And then in the ocean, whales eat grass, ocean grass. The largest animals in the world subsist on grass because grass is majorly nutritionally dense, and it's especially nutritionally dense, especially a good source of fats. How interesting. You look at your grass and you say, well, there's no fat in this. It doesn't look very fatty, but it is. Grass is a wonderful source of fats. Seaweed is a wonderful source of fats. It's very interesting how these foods, which appear to be mostly water, are great sources of good fats and, for that matter, fatty vitamins. Vegetables are powerful foods. Now, I don't go as far as, vegetarians and say only eat vegetables, but there's no arguing the fact that they are the powerful foods on the planet. Even animal foods are derived from vegetables. That's how cows make their meat. That's how animals make their flesh. And their milk, for that matter, by eating grass, by eating leaves. Vegetation is incredibly powerful, even though it doesn't look substantial, a leaf. My dad used to call leaf food rabbit food. And a lot of people have this idea that leaves and grass are somehow insubstantial food. They don't appear to be substantial. But in essence, a leaf and a plant, a vegetable, the difference between, there's a big difference between vegetables and fruits, even though we lump them together. You can always tell a nutritional ignoramus if they say fruits and vegetables as if they were synonymous. That's a nutritional ignoramus, I call them. Hope I'm not offending anybody. But if you say fruits and vegetables, then you're revealing that you don't understand how these things work. A fruit is not a vegetable. It's distinct from a vegetable. A fruit is an ovary. It's a womb for a seed. And it's loaded with things that the seed can eat, mostly sugar. A vegetable, on the other hand, has all of its nutrients dispersed, and it's like a vegetable is a solar device, like a solar battery. It sucks up sun energy. This is what a vegetable does. Plant doesn't do this. A vegetable sucks up the sun's energy, and in this magical process, somehow converts that solar energy into physical matter. That's not what a fruit does. And that's what makes vegetables so unbelievably important and powerful. All right, we'll continue when we come back from our break. I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening. Talking about omega-3s and inflammation and anti-inflammation and veggies. Veggies are ridiculously powerful, as I was saying before we went to break. And veggies aren't fruits. Veggies are solar ray trapping devices. A vegetable sucks up solar energy. What we call a vegetable sucks up solar energy, at least the ones that are exposed to the sun. Some vegetables are underground, but the ones that are exposed to the sun suck up solar energy, turn it into matter. And it's the machinery of solar transformation, if you will, the machinery of photosynthesis, that's what it's called, the machinery of photosynthesis is incredibly valuable for nutrition. And the stuff that's made from the sun, the sugars and the fats, those are also incredibly valuable for nutrition. And as it turns out, vegetation is a wonderful source of omega-3 fats, the hard-to-find omega-3 fats. Seeds are a great source, flax seeds, chia seeds, hemp seeds, mustard seeds. Seeds are great sources. In fact, nature will stash away essential fatty acids in the seeds. But the green part, the leaves, and the green component of the vegetation is also packed with omega-3 fats. And even though we don't see it, doesn't appear that way. When we look at a blade of grass or we look at a leaf, it doesn't look like it's got a lot of fat in it. It does. And really, really important fat and helpful fat and good fat. And it's just one reason why vegetables should comprise the vast majority of our calories. I think 80%. Now, I'm not saying animal food. I'm not going all vegetarian. And I don't think it's a good idea to go all vegetarian from a health perspective, even though there's certainly ethical reasons why you might want to. But from a health perspective, there are things in fats and animal foods. There are things that the animal transforms the vegetation it eats into that you can't get from vegetation. You can't get growth factors from vegetation. You can't really get what are called the branched chain or the building amino acids from vegetation very well. So you do need animal protein, absolutely. But you don't need as much as people think you need. And certainly you need most of our calories needs to be coming from vegetables, not fruits, but from vegetables. All right, tomorrow we'll talk a little bit more about omega-3s and omega-6s, and we'll talk about my favorite source of vegetation. My favorite vegetation, at least when it comes to nutritional, it comes from a nutritional perspective, the ultimate food. I think it's the ultimate food. And that's, we'll talk about that tomorrow on the bright side. I'm Pharmacist Ben. Thanks for listening. 844-236-6010 is our number. Got a couple lines open for you. Let's go to Jerry in Santa Cruz. Good morning. What's up, Jerry?
Hi, good morning. I've had a few rear enders, skiing accident.
Okay.
It should have dislocated my hip, but instead it tore out some muscle from the bone.
Oh, so you're healing now. Are you in the healing process?
That was like 10 years ago, but it still hurt. Yeah, I had an MRI, but and then I felt like, I fell 10 feet off of.
Are you accident prone, Jerry? It sounds like you're a little accident prone there. Tell me, I'm just teasing you. Tell me how I can help you. You just for pain and inflammation kind of thing? For healing? Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, I really am concerned about my bones because it's a bone issue, and I do get a neurological. He's called a neurologic chiropractor, and he helps me, but I just want to be sure that I keep those bones healthy. I watched a YouTube on a hip replacement, and I was thinking, I wonder if I never want to have one of those things.
All right, I agree with you. So that's more than bones, though. There's bones and joints. In fact, basically, what you're talking about here is a part of your body called connective tissue. And it sounds like you're having a connective tissue problem, and it's very common, especially as we get older. Connective tissue is the stuff that holds us all intact. You got 4 kinds of stuff that your body's made up of. It's made up of muscles and connective tissue. That's what we call flesh. And then the whole thing is covered, candy-coated, if you will, with another type of tissue, and that's called epithelial tissue. We're not going to go into that, and don't worry about what that's called. And then the whole thing is electrified with neural tissue, nerve tissue. But the bulk of the body is made up of flesh, connective tissue, and muscle tissue, and it sounds like that's where your problem is. Bone, by the way, is a connective tissue. Blood is a connective tissue. Connective tissue connects everything together. And this is very common. This is how we break down. The neural tissue doesn't really, that's not as significant a problem for most people in terms of its breakdown. Obviously, it deteriorates along with everything else, but not as much as the connective and the tissue and the flesh, the muscle tissue, the flesh part. So we got to build your connective tissue up is what we're looking at here, and there's lots of ways to do it. Well, we talked about the omega-3 fats and the omega-6 fats. They're vital because as long as you have inflammation, it's going to be very difficult for the body to repair itself. Get on the Ultimate EFAs, 3 in the morning, 3 in the afternoon, 3 at night. Protein, also. Yes?
Excuse me. I have a bottle of EFAs, but it says expired.
No, the expired is expired. You don't want to
throw them out?
I would. Yes, of course. Yeah. When nutrition expires, when nutritional supplements expire, toss them. Expire doesn't mean they're going to kill you. It means they don't have the same potency, and you want potency. So get on some fresh. You know what, Jerry? If you keep, I won't be able to talk to you if you keep interrupting me here. So let me tell you everything, and then I'll let you talk. Okay?
Okay.
So I want to get it. There's a bunch of things you could do. All right. So your Ultimate EFAs, 3 in the morning, or any EFAs, but I like the Ultimate EFAs. 3 in the morning, 3 in the afternoon, 3 at night. Make sure you're doing a good source of protein. And this isn't just for Jerry, you guys. This is for anybody. This is for anti-aging strategy. This is for repairing. This is for post-surgery. This is for anybody who wants to build tissue, which is all of us. So EFA is number 1. Do a supplement to make sure you're getting the right proportion and the minimum amount that you need. Good source of protein, especially protein that contains something called the branched chain amino acids, the BCAAs. Whey protein and flesh protein, primarily also egg protein. Will get you the BCAAs. Make sure you're doing cartilage-containing products. I know I probably say it every day. We probably talk about cartilage-containing products. That's how important they are for building connective tissue, for fighting wrinkles, for supporting blood vessels, for anti-aging, for what you're talking about with bones and joints. And that would be cartilage-containing foods, bone soup especially, and also glucosamine capsules, glucosamine chondroitin, things like the glucogel caps, and also gelatin. Gelatin is a powerful, powerful nutritional supplement. Cheapo, plain old gelatin, which is collagen essentially, broken down collagen, is a wonderful nutritional supplement for many reasons, but certainly for helping build up connective tissue. Then don't forget about your trace or accessory nutrients. The vitamins and the minerals, your B vitamins and also vitamin C are very important, and also your fatty vitamins, which turn on the building process. Now, by the way, as we get older, we don't absorb these things, so making sure you're absorbing out of the digestive tract, you don't have any liver problems or intestinal problems, that's also important. And then last but most certainly not least, there are polysaccharides. That means long-chain sugars that are important for the joints as well as for the bones. Substances like high hyaluronic acid, which I know many of you guys have heard of, can be very helpful. Also fucoidan, which is a wonderful algae. We're going to talk about algae tomorrow, by the way, which is loaded with these polysaccharides that are important for growth and development, and also for joint tissue specifically. Jerry, don't go away because I'll let you finish up when we come back from our break, okay? But that's a ton of nutritional ideas for you. And if you want one more thing, apple cider vinegar with meals, that and digestive enzymes with your meals will help you absorb these nutrients out of your food. All right, I'm Pharmacist Ben. You are listening to The Bright Side. 844-236-6010 is our number. We'll be back right after this. Jerry in Santa Cruz, one last thing, and then I'll let you finish up here. Vitamin C, super duper important for building connective tissue. It's the key that turns on the engine of connective tissue production. All the other things are raw materials. Vitamin C is the key that turns on or activates the production. So make sure you're getting enough vitamin C also with all those other nutrients. What's up, Jerry? So finish up if you have questions.
Okay. I'm just having such a hard time, because with the sea being contaminated by Fukushima radiation, and then the cows and the chickens, they're tortured animals. And
I know. What are you going to do? What are you going to do?
Milk and eggs and cheese, how good are they when the
What are you going to do?
tortured?
Jerry, I know. We're stuck here on this planet together. I don't know how to answer that. We trash the ocean. We've trashed it for centuries. When I was a little kid growing up in New York City, I remember a barge going out twice a day from the city into the middle of the ocean, and the barge was pulling all the trash or a bunch of the trash from New York City. It would dump the trash in the ocean and then come back twice a day. And then old cars would wash up on the ocean. This is ridiculous, obviously. This is idiotic.
Isn't whey a waste product?
No, it's not a waste product. And I want to know the bonehead who told you that. It's not a waste product. It used to be wasted. That's true. They used to throw it out, and they used to feed it to the pigs, and then they noticed the pigs were getting all strong and big, and they decided to look what was in the way, and they said, oh my gosh, it's got the most perfect blend of amino acids for building things, not to mention immune boosting factors and digestive system boosting factors. It is a processed food, and that is a bit of a problem, but if you eliminate that unfortunate fact that it's processed, it is one of nature's most powerful foods. And if you can't do whey, and many people can't do whey, that's unfortunate. But if you can do whey, you want to be doing it daily, in my humble opinion. Of course, hormone-free cows and grass-fed, ideally. But Jerry, you're raising some interesting questions. I don't know how to answer that. Look, the ocean is awful, and I don't like factory farming. But what are you going to do? This is the world we created, and we're all responsible here. You can't blame anybody, but you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, they say there's no such thing as a bad employee, only bad bosses. Well, we are the bosses. This is our country. They are our servants, and our servants are bad, and that's because we are bad bosses.
Are you voting? Are you going to go out and vote for any of those clowns?
Yeah.
Which clown? Clown number one? Which clown? Clown number 1, 2, 3? Which one?
All the way.
Clown, the chief of the clown show.
Back.
Yeah. All right, I got to move, Jerry. Thank you for your call. Appreciate it. Hope we helped you out. Melissa in Oregon, welcome to The Bright Side.
Hi, Ben. How are you?
I'm good. What's going on?
I wanted to mention that I think it would be great if you could find some time to talk about pregnancy on your show.
Okay.
I think it would be nice to
Maybe
hear
we'll
your
do that with the
perspective.
omega. We'll do that in this omega-3 discussion. We'll talk about pregnancy because omega-3s are one of the most important supplements for a pregnant woman. You're pregnant, I take it, or you know somebody?
I am. I'm
Congratulations.
starting my third. Thank you. Just starting my third trimester, and I was wondering what your
What to
advice
do?
was. Yeah, just,
Supplement?
as far as supplements and.
Okay, good. That's a great
any
question.
advice.
First baby?
No, second.
Okay, well, you're going to notice a difference if you start supplementing now. You're a little at the end of it, so, a lot of the development's already occurred. You really want to be supplementing at the beginning of the pregnancy, but still, you're still going to notice some benefits. Even postpartum, after you give birth, if you start supplementing and you do it carefully and you watch what you're eating, your milk will be better. And mother's milk is nature's, for a human being anyway, it's nature's most powerful food, human mother's milk. For a human being, there's nothing better than human mother's milk as far as growth and repair and building substance, building tissue. And so making sure you have the raw material and you don't have the wrong stuff is important. Number one, if you have digestive issues and you have food allergy issues, those are coming out in your milk, the food and allergens and the antibodies, and your baby is going to be more susceptible. So if you have any digestive issues, leaky gut, you need to eliminate those and make sure you're eating correctly and not eating problematic foods, especially the bad fats. You want to make sure you're staying away from trans fats, hydrogenated fats, and instead, you want to make sure you're supplementing with omega-3s. In fact, I would say that may be the most important. I hate saying the most, but it's certainly one of the most important. Omega-3 fatty acids. Fish oil, ALA. Get on your ultimate EFAs from Longevity. Make sure you're eating fish, although you have to be careful, as we were talking about with the last caller, because the ocean is a little trashed. But still, yeah, all of that. But still, fish are contain tremendously valuable nutrients for your milk and for your baby and for you. Not the least of which is iodine, which is another very important supplement for mothers to be. Iodine helps build the baby's brain. So you're going to correct digestive issues, number one. Number two, omega-3 fatty acids. Number three, iodine. Number four, good bacteria. Please make sure your body is loaded with these good bacteria. They are incredibly important for your milk and for your baby. Even as your baby is developing, the bacteria in your gut have an impact on the growth of the baby. So the Biolumin Nightly Essence can be helpful for you, as well as fermented food. Vitamin D, very important for building tissue. Unspeakably important for building all tissue, for growth, for repair, and for building a baby. That means the sun. Vitamin D is also going to be found in food, in fish, and it'll also be found in supplements, but the sun is going to be your best source of vitamin D. The electrolytes in the B complex are also important, if perhaps not with the same degree of importance as the omega-3s, but they're still important. And then also your fatty vitamins, particularly vitamin A. And also, all the fatty vitamins. Vitamin A and D go together. As far as minerals go, zinc is incredibly important for growth and repair for both you and the baby. And then also it helps you stabilize sugar. And keeping your sugar stable is also an important strategy. And that would be chromium, vanadium, selenium, sulfur, not to mention the Bs and the electrolytes. I know there's tons more, and I know it gave you a bunch, but go listen through the archives and review and write, because it's just impossible to be limited with the amount of nutrients that are important for growing a baby, for building a baby. Does that help, Melissa?
It does. Just real quick, is there anything that I should stay away from as far as
foods that cause digestive distress? Or eliminate those entirely, and processed fats. Those are your two bad guys, although any processed food really, but especially fried fats, processed fats, chips and crackers and French fries and grilled fats. All of those things are really bad for you and for your baby.
But supplements are pretty much...
No, supplements,
okay.
There's no supplements to stay away from. Absolutely no.
Okay.
Heck no.
Okay. And I can take like melatonin at night if I'm having trouble.
That's not a supplement, but that's a hormone. I don't think that would be a problem, but that's not what we're really talking about here. And the prenatal vitamins that they give you, that is the minimum of the minimum of the minimum wage. It's like working for $3 an hour. Yeah, you might be able to survive, but it isn't all you need. That's for sure.
Okay. Thank
all
you.
All right, take care.
It.
Okay, bye-bye. All right, Virginia in Ohio, welcome to the bright side.
Hi.
Hi, what's going on?
I was just wondering, what vegetables would you suggest eating for someone who has a low thyroid and diabetic? She can't
all the
eat
vegetables, although you do want to be a little bit careful with what they call the cruciferous vegetables for your thyroid. Supposedly they contain things that tie up the iodine and keep you from, it may have some negative effects on the thyroid, although I have to tell you I haven't really seen any of that, but that's the rumor anyway. You can bypass that by steaming your veggies, steaming your cauliflower and your broccoli. It really isn't anything specific for diabetes and for the thyroid. Can you turn that? Do you have do you have your radio on, Virginia? I got a weird echo.
I don't.
No? Okay, I think back in the studio, if you could turn that down, I've got a weird echo. I wouldn't worry about avoiding anything specifically, but for the diabetes, what you want to avoid is really super duper sweet fruits. Now, and when I say avoid, I don't mean entirely avoid, but keep your intake of these things down as best as you can. That's really one of the great myths about fruits and vegetables. I said earlier how fruits are not vegetables, and one of the reasons is because fruits are loaded with sugar. And it's a special form of sugar called fructose that is really hard on the liver. So you want to be somewhat careful about the fruits, and I wouldn't say that there's any particular vegetables that you need to use, but just making sure that you're getting all your vegetables is important. Chromium, vanadium, magnesium, vegetables that have these kinds of minerals, particularly beets, and also nuts. They're not a vegetable, of course, but nuts sometimes can be helpful for people. Good sources of these sugar-binding or sugar-controlling nutrients like sulfur and selenium and chromium and vanadium. Thanks for your call, Virginia. I'm going to try to get one more call in. In California. What's going on? Welcome to the bright side.
Hi. My sister has shingles, and I wanted to help her.
Okay, here's a couple things for you, and we're out of time, so I'm just going to go fast.
Yeah.
Selenium is the first thing to think about with shingles. Very powerful antiviral. Vitamin C is also antiviral. Make sure she's getting enough vitamin C. But the most important strategy for dealing with shingles is to strengthen the immune system. The only people who get shingles are people who are immune compromised. So making sure you're keeping your intake of foods that throw off immunity, that's the processed foods and food allergens and foods that cause you digestive distress. That's really the most important thing, in addition to an all-around nutritional supplement program that features vitamin C and the B vitamins and selenium, and also to a certain extent probiotics, which can have antimicrobial properties. And that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for listening, friends. Have an awesome, wonderful, beautiful, spectacular day. We'll talk to y'all later. Bye for now.
Registered pharmacist Ben Fuchs knows the benefits of supplementing with whey protein for optimal health and vitality. That's why he recommends protein shakes like the ones available through the Suzanne Division of Longevity.
Whey is ridiculously important. In fact, next to human mother's milk, whey protein is the most nutrient-dense food. There's two major proteins in cow's milk, casein and whey. The whey part of milk contains growth factors and immune-stimulating factors, building the immune system. You're talking about cancer. The body has cancer fighters built into it. The body has molecules and entities that kill cancer. Those are part of the immune system.
To build and support your immune system, order the protein shakes from the Suzanne Division of Longevity. Available in chocolate and vanilla. Call 866-735-2470. That's 866-735-2470. Or on the web at brightsidebib.com. That's brightsidebib.com. Order today.
Are you sneezing, coughing, and aching? Do you have a sore throat, a fever, or the sniffles? There's no reason to be sick this cold and flu season with immune system support from Supernatural Silver. Supernatural Silver can give your body the help it needs to fight off harmful pathogens without hurting beneficial gut flora and without leaving behind resistant bacteria. Antibiotics can damage good microflora and often leave behind bacteria, which can cause problems later on. If you're sick of being sick, try Supernatural Silver. Supernatural Silver, the #1 choice of thousands for a safe and effective way to protect against the many diseases and illnesses that we are facing today. Go to supernaturalsilver.com, read our customer reviews, and see the life-changing results that people are having. That's supernaturalsilver.com. Supernaturalsilver.com. Use the promo code PROTECTED for 20% off your entire order. And like us on Facebook. Supernatural Silver.
This is Dan Pilla. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpilla.com.
Looking for that edge during those intimate moments? We see many ads for enhancement, but the side effects include death. At GCN Team, we should change the Healthy Body, Brain, and Heart Pack to the Healthy Libido Pack. The brain and heart are not the only organs that require a healthy vascular system. For proper blood flow at the right moment, go to GCNteam.com or call 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203.
Sciatica, lower back pain, hip pain, poor posture. If you suffer from any of these problems, get ready to relax. Introducing an amazing product that's been in the market for over 25 years, the Sacro Wedgie. It was invented by a football coach using a common sense osteopath technique. He created this device to help his athletes by isolating and supporting the sacrum, which is the keystone of our anatomy. This wedge-shaped bone is in the center of our hips, where a lot of pain starts. Simply relax 20 minutes daily on the amazingly simple Sacro Wedgie and let gravity do the work, helping muscles rebalance and start releasing nerves. Sit in the Sacro Wedgie at the computer or while traveling to help correct posture to finally help relieve those stubborn aches and pains for only $33.95. It's made in the USA, so click the family-owned website at sacrowedgie.com, spelled SACROWEDGY.com, or call 1-800-737-9295. That's 1-800-737-9295. Relax your back pain away with the Sacro Wedgie.
So you've got to take a state construction license exam or certification. Can't decide on what books or what chapters to study? Discover right now how you can eliminate unnecessary books and wasted study time. At contractorexam.com, our study materials zero in on state-required test topics in an effective, multiple-choice format. So whether you're a plumber, electrician, general contractor, or other construction-related trade, contractorexam.com will help get you prepared. Visit us at www.contractorexam.com today.
Pharmacist Ben Fuchs knows the importance of proper digestion.
Make sure you take a look at the Ultimate Enzyme product. They're made with bile salts and fat digestion enzymes and protein digestive enzymes. And not only do the Ultimate Enzymes give you obvious benefits for digestion, but they can also help keep your blood flowing through your circulatory system. As most of you probably know by now, thick, sludgy, clotting blood is a serious risk factor for heart disease and stroke. Clearly, inappropriate and excessive blood clotting is a major health issue, and thick, sludgy blood is not just about heart health either. Sludgy blood can compromise oxygenation and nutrient delivery to all your cells and tissues and organs, and ultimately lead to almost any health issue you can name.
Concerned about proper digestion and heart health? Order Ultimate Enzymes by calling 866-735-2470. That's 866-735-2470, or on the web at brightsideben.com. That's brightsideben.com. Order today.
By now you know that wireless technology like cell phones do in fact pose dangers to the health and privacy of everyone. Blockit Pocket's wide range of products are unmatched in providing the protection you deserve. No scare tactics, just common sense. BlockitPocket.com offers quality American-made options to alleviate and eliminate these invisible dangers. Learn more at BlockitPocket.com or call 888-315-9618. BlockitPocket.com, enhancing health and privacy.
We all know that Berkey Water Purification Systems are the most trusted name in water filtration. As an authorized Berkey dealer for over 6 years and serving thousands of satisfied customers, the Berkey Guy offers amazing specials for Berkey Water Filtration Systems. The Berkey Light Systems include a set of self-sterilizing and recleanable black purification elements that purify water by removing chlorine, pathogenic bacteria, cysts, and parasites to non-detectable levels and remove harmful chemicals such as herbicides and pesticides. Order the Berkey Light System today, complete with 2 black Berkey elements for only $231, and the Berkey Guy will ship your order free of charge. With the purchase of a Berkey Light, the Berkey Guy is also offering a set of fluoride and arsenic filters for only $39.99. That's over 30% off the retail price. Call the Berkey Guy at 1-877-886-3653. That's 1-877-886-3653. Or order online at goberkey.com. That's goberkey.com today.
Owe $10,000 or more to the IRS?
Get on board with the Tax Admiral. Don't pick on the IRS alone. I'll cut penalties and reduce your overall tax bill. Sometimes I can even get it zeroed out completely.
We're an A-rated company helping people clean up their mess with the IRS.
If you owe $10,000 or more, then call the Tax Admiral.
Call 800-287-7180. Again, that's 800-287-7180. 800-287-7180.
It's about time something new came along for better selling and buying online. And I found it.
What now, Marge?
It's buysellmakeoffer.com.
Never heard of it.
It's a brand new company. That's why you've never heard of it. It's the newest and best way to sell any products online. I did all the research.
Sell my car?
Yes.
Our home?
Yep.
My golf bag?
Your golf clubs. All of them.
How about your purse collection hoard?
Hey, now.
You said any product.
Right. I did. We get 30 days free.
Really?
Packages starting from only $7.95. And buysellmakeoffer.com will never charge item fees ever. Never. And this is cool. Listen to this. You can even use Skype or video to show your items.
That's cool.
Yes. All we have to do is go to the website, sign up, and then load our stuff to sell. I love this site.
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. You got it?
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. Better selling, better buying.
So you've got to take a state construction license exam or certification. Can't decide on what books or what chapters to study? Discover right now how you can eliminate unnecessary books and wasted study time. At contractorexam.com, our study materials zero in on state-required test topics in an effective, multiple-choice format. So whether you're a plumber, electrician, general contractor, or other construction-related trade, contractorexam.com will help get you prepared. Visit us at www.contractorexam.com today.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson Adam Pulaski of the Pulaski Law Firm with principal office in Houston, Texas is the attorney responsible for the content of this ad. This ad is not legal advice, and the choice of a lawyer should not be based solely upon advertisement. Services may not be available in all states. Attention Xarelto users. If you or a loved one took Xarelto and suffered a serious bleeding event, you may be entitled to financial compensation. Xarelto is a popular prescription blood thinner used to prevent blood clots and protect patients from strokes. These serious bleeding events have led to numerous cases of hospitalization and even death. Phone lines are open 24/7. Call 800-261-0937. That's 800-261-0937.
This is a healthcare alert from the Pain Relief Hotline. If you, a family member, or a loved one suffers from knee, back, shoulder, or ankle pain and have Medicare as your primary insurance, we've got great news. You don't have to suffer any longer. You can immediately qualify for a pain-relieving brace at little or no cost to you by calling our 24/7 Pain Relief Hotline at 866-389-0620. Delivery is free and all paperwork is handled for you. If you are on Medicare and have knee, back, shoulder, or ankle pain, don't wait. You can qualify to immediately receive a pain-relieving brace at little or no cost by calling our 24/7 Pain Hotline now at 866-389-0620. Our representatives are standing by 24/7 to take your call and rush you your pain-relieving brace at little or no cost to you. Shipping is free and all paperwork is handled for you. Just call 866-389-0620. That's 866-389-0620. Again, 866-389-0620.
So you've got to take a state construction license exam or certification. Can't decide on what books or what chapters to study? Discover right now how you can eliminate unnecessary books and wasted study time. At contractorexam.com, our study materials zero in on state-required test topics in an effective, multiple-choice format. So whether you're a plumber, electrician, general contractor, or other construction-related trade, contractorexam.com will help get you prepared. Visit us at www.contractorexam.com today.